I'm your host for today, and my name is e-Ananse from Mary Star of the Sea International School. This show is live on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. With me today for the reading and discussion is
Ananse.
If you are just joining us, this is the e-Ananse Kiddie Reads show. Please don't go anywhere. Just stay glued to this platform as we promise to bring you exciting readings and discussions that will inspire and motivate you to dream and achieve bigger. You can send your comments while the discussion goes on. Africa, and for that matter, the Black race, has been blessed by the Maker with great personalities that serve as a benchmark for the younger generation to look upon and change lives in the continent, no matter how small your beginning may be. Today, we want to discuss about 3 important personalities who were not born with a golden spoon in their mouth, but stood upon opportunities that came their way and made a name for themselves, their generation and generations after them. The first among them to be discussed is Martin Luther King Jr. We shall also discuss about Nelson Mandela, and last but not the least, our own Kofi Annan. Nana, I'll say welcome once again to the e-Ananse Kiddie Reads show.
Thank you for having me.
I trust you are doing well.
I'm doing great.
So let's look at our first personality for the day. Nana, I'll say, can you please help us read something brief about Martin Luther King Jr.?
Sure.
Today, we are reading about the book Young Gifted Black, written by Jamie Wilson.
Martin Luther King Jr. One of the most influential leaders in American history, Martin Luther King Jr. was a civil rights activist who devoted his life to advancing racial equality. Martin Luther King Jr. was a dreamer who turned his vision into action long before he became famous for his epic speeches. He envisioned a world where children would live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but the content of their character. The son of a preacher, Martin, who was born Michael, was moved up to Grace at high school, which earned him admission to the prestigious Morehouse University at age 15. Inspired by his religious father, he later earned a doctorate in divinity. In 1955, he became the spokesperson for the Montgomery bus boycott, a campaign to stop the segregation on city buses. He increased support for civil rights by organizing peaceful protests. Martin helped organize the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom in 1963 and delivered his famous "I Have a Dream" speech. A year later, United States Congress passed the Civil Rights Act outlawing segregation. In 1964, Martin won the Nobel Peace Prize and he helped pass the Voting Rights Act. Although he didn't get to live to see his dreams of racial and economic equality for all people realize, the man who said, "Only in the darkness can you see the stars," create a brighter future for generations to come. Today, Martin Luther King Day is a federal holiday in the US, observed on the 3rd month of January each year.
Wow, great personality indeed, Martin Luther King Jr. So Nana, we realize Martin Luther King had a dream.
Yeah.
And that dream really pushed him to the top.
It really pushed him to the top.
So how can we know this is a good dream I must pursue as a child?
Well, first of all, dreams are aspiration and expectation we want to happen in our lives. We all have dreams in our lives, but we don't know if it's a positive or a negative one. Coming back to your question, you can know if it's a good dream if it won't have a negative impact on your life. Let's say you want to become a footballer. You ask yourself, if being a footballer will have a negative impact on my life, then I have to stop. If it's a positive one, you continue pursuing it. You also have to ask advice from your parents and other teachers who are well known for their dreams and for their inspirations in life to advise you if your dream will make you successful or give you bad effects in your life.
I see. Nana, please help us here. As children, how can we put our dreams into action?
Well, as children, our dreams can be put in action by well educating ourselves and the dreams we have. For instance, if you want to become a fashion designer, we are so blessed that in these days the internet is quite available to us. So you Google about fashion designing, you learn about people who are successful in fashion designing and know how they became successful. You can also seek for required logistics and also courses that will help you nurture your dreams to become who you want to be in future.
Wonderful. So now, let's look at one of Martin Luther King's quotes we just read from the story. Only in the darkness can we see the stars, created a brighter future for the generations to come. What do you think Martin was trying to tell us children by this quote?
Okay, indeed, it's only in the darkness can you usually see the stars. Because literally stars do not even appear in the daylight. It's only in the night that we see the stars. Let's go back to school. Before a semester or a term ends, we sit for examination, which help us promote to the next class. Students see examination as challenge or a darkness. So we have to take the challenge or darkness as a stepping stone that will move us to the next step. There is a saying that every challenge is a stepping stone to the next level. We should take advantage of every challenge, let's say the exam, that will help us move from, let's say, from class 1 to class 2. We have to sit for the exam and pass so that we can be graduated in life.
I agree with you, my brother. So children, we should see challenges as stepping stones to the next level in life. Let's take a look at the second personality for the day, Nelson Mandela. Nana, please read something brief about Nelson Mandela for us.
Okay. Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela was a Nobel Peace Prize winner and the former president of South Africa. President Mandela was born on the river banks of a village in South Africa to parents in the Tembu's People's Royal Family. They gave him the name Rolihlahla, which means troublemaker in the Zoha language, a title that he lived up to for the rest of his life. Rolihlahla loved learning and said, "Education is the most weapon we can use to change the world." He went to a mission school where his teacher started calling him Nelson. Nelson was treated poorly due to apartheid, a system that used to discriminate people against based on their skin color. Although they were the majority, blacks had no input into how the country was run and were barred access to education and fair wages. They were also met with violence when they stood up for their rights. Nelson spoke out about human rights, which caused important people to stop trading with the South Africans. He was jailed for 27 years, initially in a small cell on Robben Island prison, for standing up for equality. Getting into good trouble helped Nelson transform his country, although he had a long walk to freedom. As his memoir is also named, he is celebrated for promoting peace and building bridges between people. He later worked with the former president F.W. de Klerk, helped end apartheid and steered South Africa's peaceful transition to majority rule when he became president in 1994. He lived by the words, "It always seems impossible until it's done." Nelson passed away in 2013, but his legacy of resistance, hope and dignity lives on in South Africa's emerging born-free generation.
I would like to acknowledge my viewers. Dela Goka joined. Thank you for joining. Ernest Rice joined. Thank you also for joining. Chierina also joined. Thank you for joining. We are very grateful. And Poetvest also joined. Thank you. Marvelous. Great personality indeed. Nelson Mandela. Even after being in prison for 27 years, he is still known for the good things and great things he did. Nana, there was one quote in the story of Nelson Mandela which was, "Education is the most powerful weapon we can use to change the world." What do you think we can learn from this quote?
Well, education is really the weapon we can use to change the world. With education, we conquer every obstacles and challenges that come our way when we have knowledge of them. Through education, even when the British came to take us into captivity, our founding fathers maneuvered their way to learn about how to administer to a country. So they help gain independence for Ghana. If not for education, we might still be under slavery. So thanks to education that Ghana has gained independence from our founding fathers.
Astonishing. So at case, how can we apply the striving zeal for freedom in our lives and nation as children?
Well, as kids, we can apply the striving zeal by sticking to our goals even when we face challenges. Let's say you want to become a medical doctor. Because you have the zeal to become a medical doctor, even when your peers are playing, you say, no, I have the zeal to become a medical doctor. So that zeal pushes you to the extent that you wake up at dawn to learn and whatever you do to become the medical doctor you wish to be. So this zeal that our founding fathers and Nelson Mandela portrayed, we have to learn from it so that our goals that we expect it will happen in our life successfully.
Great. Nana, do you think as children we should stop our goals when we face challenges?
No, our goals should never be stopped when we face challenges, especially when it's a good goal. But when it's a negative one, it obviously has to stop, even when you don't face challenges. If Nelson Mandela could have faced challenges and he stuck to challenges, we wouldn't have become the president for South Africa. And even if our founding fathers could have faced challenges, they all faced challenges, but they knew what was in front of them, what they were heading towards. So they let the challenges back and press on to get their goal to gain independence for Ghana.
I agree with you. Last but not the least, our own Kofi Annan. And I'll kindly read this one for us.
Okay. Kofi Annan. Ghanaian diplomat Kofi Annan is the former General Secretary of the United Nations and the recipient of the Nobel Peace Prize. Kofi and his twin sister were born into an aristocratic family in Ghana, which was then known as the Gold Coast. He attended a Christian boarding school until his graduation in 1957, the year Ghana became the first British colony to gain independence. Fueled by his passion for education and his belief that knowledge is power, information is liberating, Kofi studied at 4 colleges in Ghana, Switzerland, and the United States. In 1962, he became a staff member at the United Nations, where he eventually became the United Nations Secretary General and a special envoy to Syria. Kofi and the United Nations were jointly awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 2001 for their work for a better organized and more peaceful world.
Impressive. This man is really a great and important personality indeed. So Nana will say, there was something Mr. Kofi Annan said. Knowledge is power. Information is liberating. Is this true? If so, why is it true?
Yeah, I agree with Dr. Kofi Annan. Knowledge is indeed a great power that can make us venture into every area of life. And with education being liberating, it means if you're educated, you're liberated of every slavery of ignorance and illiteracy, which is the downfall of many countries. Let's say many countries have resources, but they don't have the knowledge how to use the resources for the development. So being illiterate, this helps the country not to develop and bring them to their downfall. So education is truly great power and knowledge is truly liberating.
Oh, okay. Mr. Osei, please, can you tell us some moral lessons we can learn from the story of Kofi Annan?
Well, Kofi Annan, even being a black, he did not look down on himself but pressed on towards to his goal. Even when he faced challenges and stumbling blocks, he used as a stepping stone to gain self-rule from others. He also didn't look down on himself among his friends. So we as kids, we should not look down on ourselves before our friends and before our peers. Friends may be your downfall, but if you know your goals you are pressing towards, you wouldn't look at for them. You strive towards your goal. When you look at the athletes, when they are running, they don't look back to who is following them. they strive for the best position. So we should take the life of the athletes and apply it to our life. We should run and never look back till we get to the best position and our dreams come to pass.
Inspiration. Nana said, please, what advice can you give to us as children in our part of the world?
I believe that as kids we should have the mentality of achieving greater heights by let going every action that pushes us back on our dreams, and we should strive forward as our prolific leaders did. We should take their life into consideration and apply it to our life so that we get to our goal before we don't face any challenges.
I would also like to advise children in our part of the world to not look down upon themselves and always strive for the best in life. All too soon, we have come to the end of another exciting show, e-Ananse Kiddie Reads. I've been your host for today, and my name once again is Edward Nilai from Mary Star of the Sea International School. Thank you, Nana Osei, very much for coming to the show.
Thank you for having me once again.
And thank you to all those out there who were watching us. And once again, thank you to the e-Ananse Libraries for organizing this show. The kids in Ghana say thank you. Till we come your way same time next week. Remember, e-Ananse is where stories come to life. Thank you. Bye-bye.